Ash Blake would have won the Crunchyroll Awards for the weakest protagonist to star in an anime if the category ever existed in 2014. However, his story completely takes a turnaround when he meets a dragon-kind girl who greatly detests clothing. Ash is a first-year senior in the Dragonar Academy, a school known for training dragon breeders to ride and tame dragons. Each student at the academy is linked to a dragon that's born within them by an astral flow and a star brand tattoo. Ash happens to be the only kid with the coolest tattoo that's not only cooler than Aang's, but also marks him as a future dragon master. Unfortunately for him, he has nothing to show for it as he has zero game, zero riz, and has never been able to summon his dragon. Long story short, he's the rusty problem child of the school, and all there is to write about him is a temper worse than Vegeta. One night, he gets a visit from a MILF Dragonborn who promises to treat his body just right. The name's Navi, and at first glance she gives off combo vibes of a registered ex-offender and Hades' daughter. It ends as a disturbing scene for Ash as he wakes up to find out it's a dream and has to get ready for school. On Ash's first day being a senior, he is mocked by several kids for reaching this class without his dragon appearing even once. Acting as a brake pad to Ash's temper is his best friend from middle school, Raymond. Other times it's Max, a third-year student, who calms his horses by stating that seniors should know better how to handle situations. Later on, a homeroom teacher officially welcomes the students into senior class. She gives an introductory lecture on how their star brand tattoos are linked to their partner dragons. She further explains that partner dragons are specific to one rider. Therefore, no student can ride another student's dragon. But of course, everyone in class is aware that Ash is an exception, as it is proven that he can ride any dragon meet. We also get to see other students with different personality traits, and one of them is Sylvia Lautremont, a contender for the biggest melons on campus. Sylvia is the fourth princess of the Empire. Her presence not only commands power, but she also turns out to be the combo of an A+ student and a mean girl. I can understand the attitude problems because last children are known to be, let's not slander an entire race today. Another strong contender is Year 3 class president, Rebecca. She's that girl with a tenacious attitude for making knees bend and members rise. She happens to not only command the mightiest dragon in the academy, but she also carries the mightiest pillow factory. The first years are called to rehearse for the academy's festival coming up. Some students prove to be stuffed by unleashing special skills, while others send their dragons to the skies. Now all this happens while Ash cools off with Raymond's dragon, which he borrows for practice. Ash forgets it's a competition, and playfully, yet accidentally, bumps his thing into the fourth princess's toy. Even if the supreme ruler of the world forgives Ash, Sylvia chooses to die on the hill of unforgiveness, as she lands him a big slap. She further insults Ash by saying he'll never experience what it feels like to ride his dragon's meat because his dragon died years ago. Sylvia flips Ash's pancakes by raising the heat to an unbearable range. Raymond tries his best to restrain him, but Ash is hell-bent on making the arrogant princess eat her words. She then challenges him at the upcoming festival where she plans to put him in his place, under her butt. The day arrives, and as a source of motivation, Rebecca offers to give herself as a plaything to the winner of the tournament. Giving the crowd nothing to be excited about is Sylvia's appearance for a speech. Everyone has had enough of her dead-ass morals. They also call her a royalty stink, just like her late brother Julius, who was executed for killing a dragon. The race begins, and for some reason, Sylvia's bouncy castle makes Ash forget his goals in life. Instead, he helps her move forward during the race, even at the expense of his loss. After the race, Ash follows strange tracks that lead him to Milgos, a masked man and a curse-bearer who has the strange ability to sense the dragon within him. The duo's meeting is cut short when Milgos's feisty little midget, Anya, interrupts them. She immediately attacks Ash, but at the point of killing him, she hesitates when she sees something in him after getting too close. In the end, Ash takes the fall for her by swapping places with her at the edge of a cliff. Ash regrets falling to his doom when he hadn't even hit yet. He blames the heavens for this sick state, as if the gods came down and gave him the idea. Just then, his star brand tattoo lights up and he enters a trance with a glowy ball. He merely reaches out to it when the ball shatters to reveal a nude girl. This felt like Santa was rewarding him one last time for being a good boy. He lands safely at the bottom of the trench with the strange girl who has close similarities with Navi. Episode 2. The strange girl regains consciousness and punches Ash across the face for character development. Still, there's no denying that she already loves the attention. From the strength of her punch, Ash recognizes her as his drag partner, even though she looks nothing like a proper dragon. She bursts his bubbles even more by saying she's the master, while Ash is her busboy. This marks the start of an uncommon relationship between Ash and Iko, as he has no choice but to sneak her into the school. Ash Blood might serve jail time when Rebecca and Max inspect his dorm room to find Iko, a nude minor creating a live-action Boku no Pico classic. Rebecca tells Ash that Iko can stay in the academy. She gives her a uniform but also informs them that the academy will investigate the flat-chested girl. The master and the busboy head into town so Ash can give her a tour of the town, but Ash gets disappointed when she chooses to eat snacks over actual meat for dragons. It's not so long till everything gets twisted, and Iko announces that she'd rather eat Ash's sausages right where they are. Ash is about to fumble real bad when a jealous princess and her maid, Cosette, interrupt the gut-digging no jutsu about to happen. Sylvia tells Ash that his actions are shameless for a student of the academy, yet things get more breezy when Iko lets out a dragon sneeze that gives Ash a beautiful glimpse of Valhalla. Lastly, Sylvia apologizes for calling his drag partner a dead meat the other day and leaves with her head held high, for she's a baddie and she knows who the F she is. The next time they bump into Ash, turns out that Iko has gone missing after not making it back from a bathroom break. In less than 24 hours of Ash being a baby dragon zaddy, he's lost his partner, but luckily for him, Sylvia and Cosette are on board to help. Sylvia shows Ash a technique to find Iko, using his star brand as a locator. We soon find out that Iko was abducted as a research subject by Dr. Angela, and all I want for Christmas is to isekai places with Iko, so Angela can do strange things to me. Angela finds out that Iko is limited from accessing Dragwarth, which are memories from her past dragonkind. Just when Angela is about to begin, Iko's escape party arrives, and there's the big revelation that was hired by the Academy for the investigation. She uses a special stone called Fafnirite to restrict Sylvia's ability to summon her dragon. Angela also casts a sleeping spell, turning them into sleeping beauties, just to buy her some time to dissect Iko. They snuggle themselves out of the situation thanks to Iko, who transmits astral energy into Ash's star brand, breaking out of Angela's spell. Just when Ash thinks he's heard the last of the Mad Doctor, the next day, she is introduced as the first year's new homeroom teacher, with a very, very big heart. Episode 3. Adding to the spread of chaos in the academy is Rebecca turning the student council room into her seductress persuasion house. She plans to make Ash join the student council by teasing him with the view of her ginormous fatty organs. These two play daddy and mummy indoors when a loud alarm signals a threat on school grounds, and the cause is revealed to be none other than the stray princess. Sylvia has taken matters into her own hands by trying to tame a dragon that's not hers to spite a non-existent rivalry with Ash. The commotion ends easily thanks to Rebecca, who finally reveals her drag partner and arch armor, but it turns out there's more to it. Anya is in town, and she happens to catch a glimpse of Ash hanging out with Iko. Her reaction to this is to immediately go ghost mode as she considers what Milgos will do to her if the cat goes out of the bag that the boy survived the fall. Overall, she excludes this info from the intel she gives Milgos, whose plan is to take advantage of Ansullivan's friendliness as a nation to conquer them. He unleashes a sword that makes Astas feel like an under-budget wannabe. No shade. It brings a mindless dragon back to life that spreads terror in the hearts of the town and its people. Iko confronts Dragon Sama about its idle destructive actions, but it responds by wrapping her up in X-rated tentacle bondage style, hoping to get some action. Rebecca morphs at the front line of the fight, striking Dragon Sama with a summoned spear, but it turns out that this fight will only get messy as Dragon Sama regenerates its head immediately. The hero fights while Madame all talk and no action has glued her weak royalty ass to the floor. This happens to be the one time Sylvia is not running her Asta-shaped mouth that Rebecca asks Ash to get the princess to safety. Ash ends up slapping Sylvia on the wrong cheeks to get her to snap out of it so she can summon her dragon, Lancelot. Iko is swallowed by Dragon Sama and is taken into a realm where her dragon rights are respected. As we said earlier, she loves the attention. She is further summoned to the High Dragon room where she meets Navi for the first time. She's the same dragonborn crackhead at the beginning of the story, who tried to feed Ash with candy when it wasn't Halloween. Navi shows Iko a slide of Ash's fight against Dragon Sama and easily concludes that he might lose his life if she doesn't act fast. Navi gives Iko the option to create a low-budget rusty arch armor, which Ash gets at the last minute before falling to his doom. Ash cuts the mini fashion show short to handle Dragon Sama with a superb skill that's none other than riding him. He gets a flashback of Dragon Sama's past life, where he was once a drag partner with a master. With the dragon's consent, he unleashes a sword that slays the dragon to rest. Iko is also released at the end of the fight. Milgos calls it a failed operation. However, Anya's new goal will be to investigate the two hideous twins, Ash, and especially Iko, for existing in human form. Episode 4. Soon, the newest members of the student council are introduced in the school assembly. The morals officer, Sylvia, the general officer, Ash, and the school's mascot, Iko, because they really let children do anything these days. Hopefully, she doesn't advocate for stripping on school grounds since she's going into the student council with 0 smarts. Part of Ash's job as a council member is to ensure that club flyers aren't posted without permission, and that includes one belonging to the Silver Knight Club, a misguided group who have a strong admiration for the hero that vanquished Dragon Sama. Soon, leaders of the Silver Knight Club as well as the members hit the classrooms in search of the missing hero. Sylvia, who happens to be present in class, attempts to bring the delusional girls back to reality, but that is until the leader of the group, Jessica, reveals that she wishes to bear the Silver Knight's children. In other words, it's a new club created by big busty girls to satisfy the delusion of one twat who wants Ash to be her zaddy. Jessica is so stubborn with her course that she disrespects Ash for breathing the same air as her. Talk more of him calling a decorum. The only one who manages to put her ass in place is Rebecca, as it turns out that she holds Jessica's sane button and has her tied by the throat like a stubborn goat she is. In the next council meeting, Becca exposes Jessica as a Goku with no Super Saiyan mode, revealing her to be nothing close to royalty, nobility, or a highborn as she claims. Therefore, her best bet to attain that position is to swallow a commoner's meatball. And then Iko goes ahead to ask a jaw-dropping question, seeking to know what meatballs are and if they are yummy. Soon, news of Sylvia's big sister breaks out, and it's the first time we witness Sylvia's downfall unfold. Princess Veronica's visit upsets Sylvia so much that even Cosette offers to give the tea on Sylvia's trauma. Turns out Veronica is the first princess of the nation, also proven to be a ruthless warrior. She was initially rejected as a dragon breeder. She made up for it by strengthening her body and honing her sword skills to eventually become the Iron Blood Valkyrie. Sylvia's trauma is built solely from the rigorous drill sessions that Veronica put her through in childhood. Furthermore, she refuses to receive help from Ash, and chooses to hold on to a promise she made to a stranger in her childhood. She promised the young boy who helped her that day that she'd become stronger, although she's lost contact with him since then. Soon, Veronica makes her appearance in grand style, riding on the Imperial airship. Episode 5. She immediately notices that Cosette is trying to fool her by cosplaying as Sylvia. The real deal only comes out when the first princess swings her blade, and we get to see Sylvia quiver in fear before real power. A banging entrance and body comes with a banging attitude. She strips Sylvia in public as the first lesson of being a Valkyrie. Never be afraid to show some melons and peaches. Ash confronts the first princess as the chief judge defender of women's rights, stating that she had no right to embarrass her little sister. He ends up being carried by Veronica's right-hand man, Glenn, and will serve as a nice piece of furniture on her ship. Ash ends up under the guidance of Veronica's aide, who also turns out to be Cosette's sister, Primrose. She's simply a dull lady who should have been given more brains than watermelons for making Aqua look smart. Ash's stay as Veronica's guest further makes me wonder who's the doctor behind the inflations on their chests. The ladies discuss Dragon Sama's appearance, yet one thing that remains a concern for them is how. Sylvia's marriage also comes into the discussion as a means to continue the royal bloodline. Veronica reveals that Sylvia has been matched with the cold-hearted man who is also their late brother's friend, Glenn. Of course, she's given the option to defend her dreams of becoming an arch-Dragonar by winning a competition. Sadly, Sylvia is shot from her dragon barely moments after the whistle, so she can say bye-bye to her dreams. Ash makes a simp move that even Sokka wouldn't do by waiting for Sylvia to regain consciousness. Glenn also makes an appearance to invite them for Veronica's tour of the town, while also making it clear that he'll push on with the marriage as his mistress commands. Thanks to intel, the council expects an attack from Avdocha, a terrorist who has some pre-existent beef with Veronica. Avdocha is described as a crackhead whose tentacles begin twitching just by Veronica's presence, and has a record of attempting to abduct her. Sylvia meets Jessica while following Veronica's wishes to pray for repentance at a temple, but what no one expects is for Avdocha to come crashing. Episode 6. The smoke from the church signals the townspeople still recovering from Dragon Sama's attack that chaos is about to unravel again. Turns out Avdocha has taken Jessica and some church attendees hostage with a mechanical bomb, and all she wants in exchange is Veronica's lifeless head in her trophy case. Veronica blatantly mentions that she will never walk into the terrorists' bait. What she doesn't know is that Sylvia is also part of the church attendees held hostage. Turns out she's in hiding after falsely proclaiming to be the princess of the kingdom, saving the real princess who's a wet rat outside the rumors. We also find out that Anya is one of the hostages and wonders if she can reason with Avdocha, who is revealed to be from the same clan as her. What's more inspiring is that Ash let the girls use him as a negotiator between both sides at war. I told y'all, he's the chief judge of women's affairs for sure. Avdocha at the first sight of him calls him a brat and questions his audacity to even stand before her, just because he hasn't rearranged her guts yet. She tells him that no one can stop her plan to search for her long-lost sister, and it will be ironic for Veronica, who has 3 sisters, to stop her. Avdocha's torture is about to really begin when Rebecca steps in to defend Anya and a newborn baby from being the first sacrifice. Again, another brat stomps in her way, and Avdocha easily shows her that short people have an amazing talent for being short-tempered, aside from being down to earth. She begins the operation, Let Them Peaches Free, stripping Sylvia down to what she identifies as her true form. Diving into her past, Sylvia realizes she's lived a sorry life, but also remembers her promise to that stranger. When Sylvia realizes her worth, baby girl rises with the perfect revenge body that's not from the botched series. Supporting her new Kardashian era are Veronica's people who arrive at the scene to do justice to Avdocha's minions. On the other hand, Iko creates a new suit to help Ash stop the mechanical bomb. All of this doesn't go down without Jessica trying to prey on Ash's virginity, till she is knocked out by Rebecca. Ash then carries Sylvia on his back, which gives her a sense of nostalgia of when she met the boy in the forest. In the grand turnout of events, Jessica is invited to join the council, not because she's all that. It's simply to keep her mouth shut about the Silver Knight's identity, and to quit her stupid club. There's another revelation where the whole Avdocha scenario was a planned scheme to make Sylvia grow stronger. The mastermind behind it all is none other than Veronica. Her heart might be made of ice, but there's always room for Sylvia to freeze in. Episode 7. After the whole love-hate sister episode, Iko seems to be going through a phase of dragon puberty where she faces more tentacle nightmares and dragon fafnerite discharges. Yet she's too embarrassed to tell Ash, because the reality is that there's no discharge, but just dragon piss. Iko is easily given a day off for bedwetting, whereas I'd have to fake losing an organ to escape work. Soon, some students are selected to represent the academy at a training camp. The only missing representative is Luca, a third-year student, a fairy of the forest, and the financial secretary to the students' council who's been absent from school activities for 3 months. That aside, Luca is revealed to be the youngest student to attend the academy, and she's a bright student that her credits exceed Rebecca's. An addition to this selection is Ash, who is made a representative by special invitation. Following a smoke scene from Luca's room, Ash and the girls investigate to find her playing Undertaker in a coffin that also happens to be her bed. She apologizes for causing concern as the smoke is revealed to be from the incense she was burning. Rebecca goes ahead to give more details about Luca's clan, the fairies of the forest who are masters at creating potions. Luca is also revealed to be wiener-starved as her dragon partner, Gawain, won't let her ride him. Sylvia wishes they could be of some help to her, but Veronica thinks the problem is from an interruption of the astral flow between Luca and Gawain. Later on, Iko opens up to Ash about her strange dream and how Dragon Sama tried to violate her from Ghost Town. Iko returns to school the next day, but not without an A-student attitude of sleeping in class. Ash catches a glimpse of how intense Luca and Gawain's relationship has become and considers a new approach to help her. To find his answer, Ash has no choice but to ride the dragon that has even rejected its master. He thinks he can unlock Gawain's feelings, just like what he did with Dragon Sama. Episode 8. Unfortunately, Gawain kicks Ash's ass in his big boy shoes, proving he cannot be tamed and also leaving the council to a questionable fate about Luca. The possibility of her attendance at camp is less than 1% now that her dragon has abolished all forms of dialogue. Yet being the ambassador for women's rights, Ash chooses to give Luca one last talk before giving up. He manages to convince Luca to visit the training camp with the assurance that whatever was severed between her and Gawain would return. On another side of the story, Anya meets Master Milgos again. She tells him that her assignment to infiltrate the academy is complete and informs him that she'll sneak in as a kitchen staff during camp. In that side meeting, we discover that Milgos is linked to the late Prince Julius and Iko, who happens to be a descendant of a powerful line of dragons, the Princess of Avalon. The students head for camp the next day, and we see Ash catch a ride with Max, who warns him to seize that gay shit of holding on to him. And then we also see how life can be unfair for bros because we can't fondle their bros' chests. The aim of training camp is to train, literally. But Rebecca announces pool day, and Jessica goes ahead to abduct Ash for their honeymoon. The day doesn't go by without Becca and Sylvia giving the poor teenagers something to stroke their wieners about. And then Luca chooses to be incognito on the fun, just like my Google search history. She visits Gawain later that night to try and make amends, but the dragon's sassy attitude is even doubled. At this point, it feels like Gawain's been taking advice from my girlfriend. Ash gets mad and challenges the dragon for treating Luca like the piece of shit she is. He manages to get on Gawain's back only to be shot by the same lightning bolt that transformed Barry Allen into the Flash. Ash loses consciousness after being restricted from accessing Gawain. Only then does Anya reveal herself from the shadows, to help as this is her way of paying him back for saving her from the fall. Ash finds himself in the High Dragon room with Navi the next time he regains consciousness. Navi reveals that Luca fell off Gawain 3 months ago while practicing the dragon dance and has subconsciously developed a fear of riding since then. Gawain had no choice but to sever their astral flow so Luca doesn't get hurt, which is why he's been rejecting her. To cut the long story short, Gawain has 5 days to live if his connection with Luca is not restored. Ash breaks this news to her, and yay, the piece of shit comes up with fake tears, as if she lacks the self-awareness that she's been scared of riding. Soon, Angela stumbles into a hidden chamber, a large room filled with the dragonkind's history and culture. Just then, she receives uninvited guests, Anya and the strangely masked Milgos. Angela only realizes that Milgos is the supposed late Julius when he calls her by the nickname that's common between them. Anya knocks her out on Milgos's orders to avoid her searching the sack for more nuts. Episode 9. After 5 days of intensive training, Rebecca announces an end to camp activities. Yet Angela's abduction isn't made public. The plan is to engage other students with an after-camp party, while the council members focus on the weighty task of finding Gawain, who has also gone missing. Ash takes the lead search by riding on Sylvia's Lancelot, but what he doesn't know is that he's fallen into Milgos's trap. They arrive at the mausoleum where they suspect Angela's last location, and the bouncing baby threat that knocks on their door are red A's belonging to Walking Dead dragons like Dragon Sama. Soon, the secret is no longer a secret as the training camp becomes the new Area 51. Jessica leads defense troops against the walking dragons, while Ash and the others infiltrate the mausoleum. They stumble into no one other than Milgos. For the most part, he's disappointed that his challenger is Sylvia, and not the phenomenal blood Valkyrie, Veronica. Milgos doesn't fail the villain introduction speech, making sure the kids know who the flippers they're about to mess with. The next dragon he brings to life is from the legendary tale of the Mausoleum, the dragon that abandoned its master who was on the verge of dying. Meanwhile, there's a tentacle invasion on the campsite as the numbers are too much for only Rebecca to handle. The guys at the Mausoleum aren't having an easy time either. Sylvia buys the group some time so Eiko can create an arch armor from the Dragon High Room while Luca has given in to her need to be caressed by tentacles. Ash pushes the fight into gear with a new arch, going head-to-head against Milgos. Ash's new suit is made for defense as his wounds haven't healed properly. He unleashes mini petrifaction devices that freeze Milgos's minions rock solid, but fail to freeze the white-haired terrorist himself. He makes a run for it when he notices he's outnumbered and that Sylvia has destroyed his Walking Dead purr. Luca realizes she'll be the Sakura of the team if she doesn't act fast. She understands that she'll have to throw it back for Gawain if she's ever going to ride him again. In the end, he responds to her after tapping some juice from her astral flow to secure victory for the students. What a comeback from Luca. Even Manchester United couldn't pull that off. Episode 10. Later on, Ash and Eiko are summoned to the capital city by Sylvia's father to attend the Continental Congress. It's an important meeting to determine the future of the nation. Yet on the invitee list are the names of people who might ruin the nation after all. Ash and Eiko are given a cold welcome by the headmaid, Frida. I'm guessing she's hostile because she lacks some vitamin D in her life. They also run into Primrose again, who leaves every trail of a 0 IQ everywhere she goes. While the others settle in, Sylvia is summoned by her father, the king of the nation who's a big daddy's girl. He tells Sylvia that Veronica recommended her to attend the Congress because she recognizes her skill. Other than that, Ash and Eiko were invited as palace decorations. The duo takes a tour through the capital city with Primrose, only to find out it's nothing compared to that old rust bucket they school at. Soon, it's time for the banquet, and as the guests arrive slowly, everyone gets in their best outfits and best behaviors. Well, everyone except Ash, who can't stop staring at Sylvia's grand cannon. Before anything, Ash is officially made a Dragonar by the king, thanks to his excellent performance at the Mausoleum. The king also announces that the Masquerade Ball is the venue for the Congress meeting. On the invitee list is Klaus, a nobility from another nation that's supposedly in a union with the imperial city. Klaus is revealed to be partners with Milgos. Roughly 10 years ago, he first stumbled upon a wandering boy in his country. The boy had lost his name, rank, and reputation. But it's not a story Anya knows, and it's not one Milgos is willing to tell. In their possession is a Magica Technica device that'll unseal Eiko in her true dragon form. All Anya has to do is pull a few strings to get her where they want her. On the other hand, Sylvia gives Veronica some intel that Milgos is Julius, and that Dragon Sama used to be his dragon, until he slays it. Episode 11. Sylvia also visits Ash, unable to fathom what she discovered alone. She tells Ash she has a lot on her chest and wishes for him to take it. She talks to him about the Julius situation and her daddy issues. Turns out that the king couldn't bring himself to kill his son, so he secretly let him begin his villain arc. Ash tells Sylvia that he can understand why the king did that. Apparently his father pulled a Sasuke on him. The two don't talk much when things get steamy between them. Ash sees the green light and finally makes a move on the princess in the year 2024, when the world has more than two genders. Cosette interrupts the two, and we see them fly as far away from each other as possible. Now that Sylvia's melons are no longer clouding Ash's ability to think, he remembers there's a flat chest called Eco. It's too late for him because the poor thing has been told the bitter truth by Primrose, that Homo sapiens fall in love with Homo sapiens, get married to them, and not dragonkind. Eco's fear of abandonment issues kicks in. She thinks the worst by assuming that Ash will throw her away when he settles in. That's the last they see her because Anya seizes the opportunity to abduct poor Eco, who got lost in the garden. The palace really said the party must go on, so the ball is organized and filled with its guests, while Ash wonders where Eco could be. Klaus marks his attendance at the party with Milgauss. However, he gaslights everyone by introducing the white-haired man as his servant. Sylvia tells Ash to stop glaring at the two because nobody would start a fight in the ballroom. Or so she thinks. Sylvia tries to interrogate Milgauss through a dance, but all she gets is a bunch of unanswered questions. Soon, Primrose is found at the spot where Eco was abducted. She apologizes for the words she said to Eco, which made her go gaga. She also gives hints on who's responsible, saying that Eco might be a hostage on Klaus's ship. Sadly, before Sylvia and Ash get to her, the mad doctors have finished their course with Eco, leaving Ash with a burning star brand that indicates his dragon partner is in trouble. Episode 12. Eco transforms into a large glowing egg after being infused by thousands of agate dragon fossils to forcefully unleash her true dragon form. One thing about Eco's drag reveal is that baby girl didn't come to play. It's different, huge, powerful, and submits every dragon in the area to its will, including Lancelot. While the party guests are frightened at the sight before them, Klaus takes the opportunity to play victim by saying the Empire's monster is ruining his ship. In my humble opinion, they can also ruin his face. Everyone makes a run for it except Veronica and Glenn, who have a score to settle with white hair. He finally takes off the stupid mask we've been waiting for all season to reveal his face as Julius, but not Julius within. So Dragon Sama was Julius's dragon, well established. But behind Dragon Sama is another evil mind, Modred, who is an heir from the Dark Dragon Kingdom and an enemy of the Kingdom of Avalon. This explains why Julius had to commit the taboo of killing Dragon Sama, but what he didn't expect was for Modred to take over his body because of the astral flow between Julius and his dragon. Glenn launches at Modred, knowing Julius had been innocent all along, but he is easily pushed aside. The main character of this fight is Eco, as Modred had waited long enough to face the word that rhymes with snitch. He leaves Julius's body immediately to possess Eco in her true drag form, aiming for reincarnation as the Dark Dragon King. Modred thinks he ate with this one, but that's she ugly as hell. Navi declares her stand with the daughter and knight of Avalon, restricting him from attaining his true form. Julius and Ash head to the forefront of the fight while riding Veronica's ship. Ash manages to get a landing on Modred, but the ride is a bumpy one. Luckily for him, Luca arrives at the right time to save him as well as other students from the academy. At the peak moment, Ash is meant to ride Modred. The mother flipper does a 180-degree, surprise, surprise, and shoots a huge blast at a defenseless Ash. At another peak moment, baby girl Eco surprises Ash with original merch made purely from her feelings. This merch goes crazy with a mighty sword Excalibur, giving Modred a huge slash on the horns that liberates his spirit from Eco. During a clean sweep of Modred's people, there's a possibility that Avdotia might have run into her long-lost sister, Anya. Other than that, it's a heartwarming reunion. And no, I have no comments about what Ash and Eco tried to do in the last scene. That's all, folks. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing content.